1st, 2025 Architectural Review Board meeting. Madam Secretary, if you'll please call the roll.
John Gilbert,
Here.
Patty Cross. Here. Jane Goddard, Tucker Billither, Jennifer Oberlin,
Here.
Lori McIntyre, Michael Nichols.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Great, thank you. Next item of business is the approval of the August 19th, 2025 meeting.
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes approved. We will move on to item number 1 under new business. That is the chairperson's report and administrative approvals. I will ask Vicki to come up, and she can also speak on behalf of the chair regarding our architecture event, the archaeology event.
Oh, yes, that was my major update. Vicki Bierenberg, Historic Preservation Officer, welcome back after a month break. Let's see, for the period from August 11th to October 13th, we had 7 administrative approvals in the Special Historic Zoning District. We issued a permit for foundation repair at 505 Wapping Street, 725 Woodland. There were some minor modifications to the ARB approved plans for a deck at the back of the building. 425 Murray Street, installation of a gable vent. 427 4th Street, this is at Special Capital foundation repair. 808 Shelby Street, asphalt roof replacement. 213 West Campbell, replacement of porches in kind. And in the Central Business Zoning District at 122 Broadway, we renewed a permit for a previously approved addition. And as far as staff updates go, we did host a very successful Archaeology in Action children's event at Cove Spring Park on September 14th, which was a Sunday. All of the slots for registration were filled in advance of the event, and I think we had like somewhere between 15 and 20 of those people show up. So it was good. A couple people came from as far as like Florence and Georgetown. I'm not sure how they found out about it, but anyway, it was fun, and it went smoothly, and we'll probably do it again.
Yeah, I'm sorry I had to miss it this year. The first year we did it, everybody had a good time. So I'm glad to hear that.
It was fun. I don't really have any other updates. The Paul Bruin Revitalization Grant, which we were awarded by the National Park Service. We did send off all our materials for Park Service approval, but shortly after we did that, the government shut down, so we haven't heard anything.
Okay, but that was kind of the materials to get them to sign the grant agreement with us.
It was the materials that they were going to approve so that we could open the application process.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's all I have.
Thank you, Vicki.
Mhm.
So really, Vicki knocked out new business items number 1 and 2. So we will move to new business item number 3. And Don, if you will please read the proposal.
In accordance with Articles 4, 16, and 17 of the City of Frankfort zoning ordinance, Scott Bruggeworth is requesting a certificate of appropriateness to replace the existing slate and asphalt roof with a tile that resembles slate at the property located at 227 to 229 Logan Street. The property is more particularly identified as PBA map number 062-3114-025.00.
Okay, our first case this evening is at 227, 229 Logan Street. It is so numbered because it used to be a duplex. There was actually another building attached to it on the south side, and that is now gone. But the address is still for both. This is a certificate of appropriateness for a roof replacement. We're in the Special Capital Historic Zoning District. This is kind of a small Victorian cottage, masonry construction with a roof that is comprised of both slate, which was the original material, and asphalt on the south roof plane. The applicant would like to replace the three major sides of the roof, meaning the north, the west, and the south sides, with a clay tile product made by a company called Ludowici, and this resembles slate. The original slate in the front gable that you can see in this photo here, and also the slate that's covering the dormer, it is his intention to keep that in place and use, where there is damage in those spots, to use the usable slate on the other sides to do those repairs. The house is a contributing building to the South Frankfort Neighborhood National Register District. It has been vacant and underutilized for decades, and the existing roof does need to be replaced. This request is partially compatible with the design guidelines for the Special Capital Zoning District, and staff is recommending approval. Here is the PVA map. This is the property that is located right adjacent to the King Center on Logan Street. That would be Logan and 3rd. You can see the lot has an irregular shape. We've got an image from the 1907 Sanborn fire insurance maps here, and you can see when it was actually 2 units together at that time. This building is pretty old. It was not delineated on the 1882 Atlas of Franklin County, so construction is estimated at between 1890 and 1900. And for a small house, it does have, a lot of character-defining features that are original, like the metal canopy that's over the front entrance and those small quarter-round windows on each side of the front window. It has an interesting metal chimney, which, well, you can see it in that bottom right photo there. It's kind of like fabricated metal, but it's decorative. It has a lot of detail on it. And of course, the remaining slate, you can get a good look at the slate at the back there in that photo on the left. And here's some better shots of the dormer. You can see it's got, in addition to the slate, which is different shapes, makes it kind of interesting, in addition to different colors. It's got the little copper finials at the gable ends, and some copper ridge between the roof planes. So it's actually, for being so neglected, it still has a lot of interesting features. It's got a new owner now, and he's only owned it for a couple of months, so he wants to get started on the roof. It is not in good condition, and he's proposing to use this Ludowici, I think that's how you say it, tile, which is pictured here from their catalog. I also made copies of the slate alternative that they make and in their catalog, so that you could take a look at it. I didn't copy it for everybody because it's like 35 pages long, but I figured if you could share that, that can kind of give you an idea of the product and how it's used. And here's another picture of the north roof plane where you can see the deteriorated portion of the slate. So, based on the information contained in the application and our evaluation within the context of the property's significance, the key features, integrity, neighborhood character, and the preservation goals for the city, staff is recommending approval of this proposal given the suggested findings on page 3 of your staff report, 3 and 4, actually, and these recommended conditions that are on page 4. And I'll be happy to try to answer your questions, if you have some.
Other questions for Vicky?
It's a
Hunter?
partial roof replacement, right? Some places are being maintained and repaired. others are
Yeah,
being
the
replaced.
dormer is planning to be maintained and repaired. The front gable is not,
Yeah,
part of the roof. The slate in that section is probably in the best condition for that reason, but he's planning to keep that there. So it's just the south, the west, and the north, planes that will be replaced with this slate alternative.
I have so many questions about this house, but they're just out of curiosity, not pertaining to this case. It is an interesting house. Is that it for Vicky? Thank you.
All right.
And is the applicant present? Please come forward and state your name and your current address.
My name's Scott Brugworth. I'm at 953 McClanahan in Lexington.
Lexington, gotcha. And did you receive a copy of the staff report?
Yes.
And do you agree with the conditions for approval and the findings of fact?
Yes.
Yes? Anything you want to tell us about the proposal?
I just, when I found the property and was offered to purchase it for rehabilitation of the historical integrity and everything as close as I can, when I got a closer look, I saw that I wanted to have sort of some quality as well as expediency because the roof was in such terrible disrepair. I wasn't, I actually did want to do natural slate, but the prices were kind of outrageous, unfortunately. And they're not manufactured in Kentucky, and it just would have been a bit of a challenge to get that to happen, especially with the urgency that I need to get this roof fixed. So I went with Ludovici because they have lab tested that they have a 100-year durability as well as a 75-year roof warranty. They are used on the Vanderbilt estate and as well as the Governor's Mansion here in Frankfurt. So it has a good reputation and great quality and resembles slate so closely that I just thought it was the best answer.
Great. Are there any questions for the applicant?
I also have some of them if you wanted to see them.
Sure, if you wouldn't mind, we're curious about things like that, if you just want to place them up here. No questions for the applicant? Great. Neat. Oh, it's heavy.
Slate's a heavy,
Yeah, that's heavy. Like you hold that.
It's, yeah.
It is a nice replica.
It is, and these are a lot bigger than natural slate is. Natural slate will kind of use a fraction of this, but equally as heavy. I had no idea it was like that until I got my hands on these a couple weeks ago, but, yeah,
Very
so,
cool.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for bringing a sample too.
Sure.
Are there any, oh, go ahead.
I do have one question. Do you intend on matching the patterns that were up there?
On the facade and, or the gable and dormer, that's almost near impossible with all of the detail. So I just thought I would let that be like sort of the focal point, main focus of the house, and just let one consistent color go around the back and on the sides. That way you can see the dormer and the front gable, and this will just be a quieter match of material as close as possible. Because right now there is sort of deteriorated slate as well as asphalt. So there's two different things going on right now. So I thought this would just be a meet in the middle. But no, I don't think I'll be able to, unfortunately.
Match the patterns.
No.
Pretty unusual. I've never seen anything like Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Are there any members of the audience that are here to speak on behalf of this proposal? There being none, I will entertain a motion.
Okey-dokey. I move that in accordance with Articles 4, 16, and 17 of the City of Frankfort zoning ordinance, and considering the testimony, evidence, staff analysis, and findings, the application requested by Scott Brugsworth be approved, subject to the conditions recommended by staff and listed on page 4.
Stand for, I think.
4, and based on the findings that are on page 3 and 4.
For the address 227/229
Oh, hold on,
Logan
yes,
Street.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes.
Ms. Oberlin?
Yes,
Ms. Cross?
Yes.
Motion carries.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Best wishes.
Yeah, excited to watch that one. Okay, we will move on to item number 4 under new business. Madam Secretary, if you'll please read the proposal.
In accordance with Articles 4, 17, 18, and 19 of the City of Frankfort zoning ordinance, Lauren Brown of Capital and Cove LLC is requesting a conditional use permit to operate a non-owner occupied short-term rental. The property located at 418 Logan Street. The property is more particularly identified as PVA map number 062-3112-009.00.
Okay, this application at 418 Logan is for a conditional use permit. It is in the Special Capital Historic Zoning District. This house is a one-story T-plan house. It's pretty old, constructed between 1850 and 1874. There's 1,426 square feet of living space on the interior. And it is contributing to the South Frankfort Neighborhood National Register District. The request for the CUP is to operate a non-owner occupied short-term rental, which of course are in South Frankfort in the Special Capital Zone. They do now require a CUP for that. There is a cap in place, and the maximum number is 5% of the total dwelling units. Total dwelling units equals 1,118, so 5% is 56, so that's the cap. If this application is approved and registered, this will be number 43 out of 56. The application is in conformance with the comp plan. The parking requirements in Article 12 are met. The applicable general conditions for a CUP in Article 19 all have positive findings, and staff is recommending approval. Here it is on the PVA map. It's got a fairly deep lot. Here's a 1912 Sanborn map, and you can see the house really hasn't changed too much in its footprint since that time. Here are some more photos showing some of the other sides of the property, including the rear yard. And here are some streetscape views of Logan Street on that block. This is looking across the street. And this is adjacent to the subject property. So in Article 19, all of the general conditions for a conditional use permit have positive findings. The parking requirement is met with the one space in front of the house. I've also included a map. The subject property is the star in about the center, and the circles are the other non-owner occupied short-term rentals in the vicinity. And based on the information contained in the application and our evaluation, we do find the request in compliance with the zoning regulations. The request is also compatible with the Franklin County Comprehensive Plan, and we recommend approval in accordance with the findings on page 4 and 5, and with the recommended conditions here and also on page 5 of the staff report.
Are there questions for Vicki? Doesn't appear to be. Thank you, Vicki. Is the applicant present? A representative for the applicant? All right, no applicant present, but we still proceed?
Yes, you may.
Okay. Do we need to have any discussion, or is everybody ready to move to vote?
I think we should check and see if anyone else is here that may
Oh,
want to.
that's a good, thank you. Anyone else here to speak on this proposal? There being none. Any discussion amongst the board? All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion.
I will try this time. Since Patty was the trailblazer a while ago. I move that in accordance with, Articles 4, 17, 18, and 19, for 418 Logan Street, from the applicant, Lauren Brown Capital and Clove LLC, that we provide the, conditional use permit, with the findings of facts and recommendations based from staff on page 4 and 5. Is that right?
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Secretary, please call a roll. Oh, yeah, call a roll.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes.
Ms. Oberlin?
Yes.
Ms. Cross?
Yes.
Motion carries.
42 out of 56.
Last one was 43.
43.
43 now, that would be 43 out of 56. 13, is that obviously math and numbers? I know that. Okay, moving on to item number 5 under new business. Donna, if you'll please read the proposal.
In accordance with Articles 4, 16, and 17 of the City of Frankfort zoning ordinance, Jen Williamson, on behalf of Ron Kunkel of Keystone Collective LLC, is requesting a certificate of appropriateness for exterior alterations including new storefronts, awnings, enlarged window openings for 3 new windows, new doors, conservation of ghost signage, new business signage, cleaning of masonry, new finish of architectural metal, and other minor work at the property located at 338 to 340 St. Clair Street. The property is more particularly identified as PVA map number 061-2410-013.00 and 061-2410-014.00.
Okay, this property at 338, 340 St. Clair Street, is requesting a certificate of appropriateness. And the application concerns the 2 northern sections of this much larger building, which is kind of divided into 4 parcels. But this application is for the northernmost parcels, which includes facades on both St. Clair but also Broadway. And the building in its entirety was built at the turn of the 20th century by a man named Henry Ringgold, and the building is known as the Ringgold Block. And it was designed by Leo Oberworth, who is a well-known Frankfurt architect of civic, commercial, and residential buildings. This building is contributing to the Frankfurt Commercial Historic District and also the Central Frankfurt Historic District, both of which are listed on the National Register. The proposal covers many aspects of the exterior rehabilitation, and the applicant is also seeking approval for a sign. The request is primarily in conformance with the Central Business Zoning District Design Guidelines, and staff is recommending approval. Here's a PVA map. And that little blue rectangle there doesn't really cover both sections of the building. So it looks a little small, but it's actually 2 sections we're talking about. Here's a better view on the 1901 Sanborn map of the building in its entirety, and you'll note that there is a notation there that says it's drawn on this map from plans, which is an indication that was probably like under construction or built shortly after this map was published in 1901. Couple older photos. The top left photo shows the building when it was Gershman's department store, and that photo is from 1979. It was taken as part of the National Register nomination for the Frankfurt Commercial Historic District. The building hasn't changed a whole lot since then, but you can see the ghost sign is much more legible. And then the bottom right image is, it's actually a photo I took with my camera of a photocopy, so it's not very good, and I apologize for that. But Leo Overworth published kind of an advertisement that was in book form, and it was called To Those Who Contemplate Building, and it was filled with images of all his structures, many of which were in Frankfurt. So this is the Ringgold block in that publication. You can see that it originally had kind of a ziggurat parapet at the corner that was stepped up, and a lot of chimneys, which are all gone now. But other than that, it's not that much different. Here's a couple of close-ups of the existing storefronts, as well as a view of the second-story windows. The proposal includes the replacement of the existing storefronts, which date to the mid-century, with compatible contemporary designs, and also the replacement of the wood double-hung windows with aluminum-clad units. And that does meet the design guidelines for the district. If someone came in with just that on their proposal, it would be administratively approved. Here's a rendering of the proposed storefronts and window replacements. One of the new storefronts, you can see from looking at the top images, one of the new storefronts will change the depth of the entry just slightly, and and the width as well, but it's mostly a change to the depth. Let's see. The existing doors on the storefronts will be replaced with custom doors to match. Here's a view of the north side of the building, which faces Broadway. The aluminum-clad windows are also planned for this side. The small square window openings on the second floor, well, they're actually more like, they're more rectangular. They're fixed, and they don't meet the building code for egress. So the proposal is to enlarge those openings so that they can put matching double-hung windows there. They plan to reuse the stone windowsills, just dropping them. You can see that illustrated here. Also at the rear, there is an existing, I don't know if it's that visible in this photo. No, it's not. But at the very rear, there's an entrance and also a window that may have actually been an entrance originally, but it's a window now. And the plan is to replace both the existing door and the adjacent window with 2 new entrances there. In addition to that, there's, a lot of other activity that's going to happen, including cleaning the masonry, conserving the existing ghost signage, refinishing the architectural metal, which is up at the roof line. You can see that strap hardware that kind of hangs down. New awnings are planned on both the front and at the new rear entrances. Awnings have always been a feature of this building. They were in the Oberworth image of the building. The awnings that are planned for the rear entrances on Broadway are not actually completely decided yet. There's a couple of design options that are being considered. They both meet the design guidelines, so they're both fine from that perspective. There's also a blade sign that is being planned for the corner. The design for the lettering and lighting has not been fleshed out yet, but the dimensions are rendered, so you can see how the size of the sign and how far it projects looks relative to the building as it is rendered in the drawings. The size of this proposed sign is 19.3 square feet. That is well within the dimensions allowed based on the size of the storefronts, as written in the zoning regulation for signage. So all of the relevant regulations pertinent to signage in Article 4.248 have positive findings. So, based on the information in the report, in the application, and staff's evaluation within the context of the property's significance, key features, integrity, neighborhood character, and preservation goals, staff is recommending approval, given the findings on page 5 and with the recommended conditions on this slide, which are also found on page 5 of the staff report.
Are there questions for Vicki? Just want to make sure I understand the door openings on St. Clair. You said one was going to be minimized.
One was going to be, I didn't hear that.
Minimized, like not as large as it currently appears? Did I understand that correctly?
The openings that face St. Clair,
So the one on the left, something is gonna
there's
change?
one of those doors is a wood door, but I don't know if it's the original door. The other opening is not historic, I don't believe, and it may be changing slightly. I don't know. The architect is here tonight, and I think she'd be able to. That's the new storefront, so I didn't put the existing condition up.
Okay.
But there's a picture, and they don't look substantially. It's one door on the left and two on the right.
Okay.
Vicki, there's an extremely unique corner roof line on this. When was that taken?
I don't know. I think it's been gone for a long time, but the architect may have more information about that. I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know.
I think so, I know. Okay.
I think that
Sorry.
over which will be with the awning.
Any other questions for Vicki? Thank you.
Mhm.
Is the applicant or a representative of the applicant present? Please come forward and state your name and address.
Hi, I'm Jen Williamson with Spangler Williamson Architecture and Engineering, and we're at 407 Wapping Street.
What, you have received the staff report
Yes,
and agree with the findings of facts and the conditions of approval?
yes.
Yes. And what do you want us to know?
I do
about
not know when the, did you call it a ziggurat? The, yeah, that rising parapet. I don't know when that came down. I don't know anything about it. I do not think it's visible in the 1979 National Register photos. So it was, it's, yeah.
It's purely decorative, right? I mean, it wouldn't serve a function with it.
That's what
Yes.
certain architectural features are.
Right, but I'm just wondering if it just started to crumble and they were like,
I would imagine it, like many, sort of building parapets or those things that are up high and take a lot of maintenance to preserve and aren't easily accessed, that it probably got a lot of weather and,
Yeah.
would have been difficult to maintain.
So I think you heard my, can you?
Yeah, so the question about the, I don't know how to make the pointer, but on the right-hand side, which is the 340 St. Clair address, the depth of the recess of that storefront has been, we're proposing to shorten it. Just because it's a pretty deep recess on that storefront. And, I don't know, sometimes deep recesses have, some liabilities to them. It's a little bit wider, and the reason it's being widened is kind of driven more by the technology of, dual glazed glass and how wide it can be. The existing door sizes are standard, but the little slivers of glass it currently has little slivers of glass on either side, but that's not enough, it's not an effective dimension for dual glazing. So we've gone to a more standard dimension for those sort of sides. And the proposal is for all new storefront systems. They're contemporary storefront, six systems with doors that work with those. The doors on the side, the Broadway side, the doors here on the right-hand side of this elevation, those are not storefront style doors. Those are, we're looking at a aluminum clad wood product that is more kind of compatible to the existing wood doors that are in that distinct opening that's not a part of a aluminum stick frame storefront system.
And back to the front,
Mhm.
the one if we're facing, like the pictures line up, I think that is that a glass transom with all the little squares above it
On the,
on the left? I
oh,
believe-
you mean the
yeah,
pictures? Wait, there was a picture.
Like this one, like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at 338 St. Clair, which is this left hand of the two storefronts, that was most recently Vibrant Life. That is a historic glass transom.
And it will stay.
Yeah, it will stay, although we're proposing to mount the awnings like they were in that earlier Oberworth photo, where they mount to the underside of the storefront
So it'll be
cornice.
above.
Yeah, you would see it as you're approaching the building. Yeah.
Okay, and I think I read, you don't think you'll run into that on the right side? That same,
We don't know.
okay.
We haven't cut into it to explore it. It's been covered since, you saw it in the 1979 National Register photos. It was covered then, and I don't.
Any other questions for Vicki?
Jen?
Oh,
I'm Jen.
sorry.
Uh,
Practice.
We did put in the application about the window replacement with the aluminum clad wood windows. We are, it really has no bearing on your decision. We are exploring the potential for tax credits. There's some interior treatment that may just be prohibitive for that program. But if we do that, then we probably would be conditioned to preserve the existing wood windows. And we are talking to contractors that do that type of wood rehabilitation, or window rehabilitation work to get competitive pricing.
And I can't remember, they all original on both sides?
They are all painted wood. I haven't studied them real close. I imagine they're probably, I mean, there could be replacement sashes. Of course, where we lower the sash on the Broadway side with this proposal, as Vicki mentioned, I mean, the reason we're doing that is we're looking for some dwelling-type occupancies that include sleeping rooms up there, and without a fire sprinkling system, we have to have emergency egress windows from those sleeping rooms, and that those window sills can't be above 44 inches above the floor, and these are probably 7 feet above the floor. So, so the proposal with those double hung sashes was that we were going to be, using the same masonry opening, dropping the sill on the masonry opening, reinstalling the stone sill at the new lowered height. And we're also planning sort of unequal sashes on those double hungs, so we can preserve the dimension of the upper sash to the original window opening size. So they'll have taller bottom sashes,
The
which,
top will mimic the-
yeah, and if we end up with which we can order in the aluminum clad, or if we end up with a scenario where we're doing wood windows throughout the now, which is not what we're asking you for, because we're asking for the aluminum clad for now.
I appreciate that detail, by the way.
Thank you.
You appreciate that detail, I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the opening, and I understand it's for code, but also the detail about maintaining that
That line.
historic note too.
There is the existing ghost sign that's on the building that we saw the black and white photo from the National Register photo, and how much clearer that was. We have been exploring potential contractors that specialize in kind of ghost sign conservation, and whether we can pull a little bit more of it back up, because it's gone over the years. And then I think also, and I don't know if it was talked about, but the cleaning of the masonry would include the very popular sort of graffiti that happens, and the photographs that happen downtown. But we are having a conversation about having maybe a dedicated chalk-only area. Some of that graffiti has gotten actually painted on the brick over time.
A lot of consideration to a lot of things.
The developer, the building owners, the entity that is undertaking this is very, very interested to be a part of town, and elements like that, they wanted to kind of respect that tradition.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Okay.
Are there any members of the public here to comment on this proposal?
Actually, I have a question. This
Come on,
building,
come on up to the podium. We need you to state your name and address.
okay, I'm Amanda Riddle. I'm at 1658 Devils Hollow Road here in Frankfurt. My question is, this building is currently for sale. With these new updates and stuff, is it because the building is for sale and they're wanting to fix it up to help with the sale, or is it because there is a potential buyer who is buying the building and is going to convert the building into something else? Because right now it is existing storefronts, and downtown businesses would like that to stay existing storefronts.
I can't speak to, I mean, our report lists a property owner as a Ryan Kunkel. So I'm assuming he owns the property and it's no longer for sale, but I really can't speak to it.
We're not a realtor's board.
Yeah.
Right, I know, but the big giant sign that says it's for sale is still up there, so I was just curious, because I'm one of the local downtown business owners, and, I just wanna, curiosity.
I really can't speak to that. I don't think we have
Okay.
knowledge of that.
I think that's more of a her question, but that's okay.
Well, maybe from a practical standpoint, this is where I'm gonna get in trouble, but call whoever's got it listed for sale
Okay, ask.
and
Alright.
ask,
Thank you.
We really don't know anything about that.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public here, please come forward and state your name and address.
Okay, so I'm Mark Rothman, and I have a business on St. Clair.
State the
Address,
address of that business, please.
that business is 328 St. Clair,
Okay.
currently known as Muscat's Music Station. And I had one question because I'm just curious, partially in because of the building that I'm in and how this things affects other things. Contemporary, I heard that. I was wondering, does that mean periodic or contemporary now? That was one question, as I'm trying to get some things fixed on our building.
And you're talking about in reference to which alteration?
On the front, if we were looking at that, and I've been inside of there, can you show the front a minute again?
Yeah.
I can do. You're gonna give me technology. Am I going the right way?
There you go.
So with awnings, and then that sign is gonna be, when somebody says contemporary, I'm thinking now, so that this front is going to look more like something that was built today, not necessarily like something that would have been of the time. And so I wanted to be clear, I guess, on that, so I understand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think we understand so in our design guidelines, it does speak to awnings and signage specifically. And that's more, and Vicky, feel free to jump in and help me. That's more dimensions, materials, and I think the contemporary concept is they're gonna be new, but according to those.
Are we talking about the storefronts or the awnings?
Storefronts and the awning,
Oh, both.
because I understand the updating and the clad and constraints on the size of windows and such, you know, so.
The existing, if you back up the photo one more time, the existing storefronts are not the original, except for the transom prism glass that's on the left there. That
Yeah.
part is original. And the pilasters that are cast iron, that part of the building is original. But the glass and the bulkheads, which are the panels at the bottom and that sort of thing, are not original. So when you're not like removing original fabric, you have a little more leeway generally with regard to replacement. And guidelines generally kind of focus on when you need to replace something, not necessarily to restore it back, but you can use new materials if they're compatible with the rest of the ensemble. So that's what we're doing here. There are examples, several downtown, where newer storefronts have been incorporated into the historic facade.
All right. Okay. I think the others will wait until someone says something's going to happen, because that'll have a different effect on the street. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments on this proposal? There being none, I'll entertain a motion. Do we have any internal discussion?
I have none.
I do not.
Okay.
Patty?
Oh,
No, I just, if you had any comments or anything.
no. Well done presentation.
Well, I'll make a motion that, for, 338, 340 St. Clair Street, for, the Keystone Collective owner, in accordance with Articles 4, 16, 17 of the zoning ordinance, for a certificate of appropriateness for exterior alterations, as noted, and with the findings of fact found on page 5, that we approve this motion. And the condition? Oh, I already said that, I think. Did I? Okay.
I need the facts and conditions for approval.
I'll second that.
There you go.
Don, if you'll please call the roll.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes.
Ms. Oberlin?
Yes.
Ms. Cross?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. that are there any members of the public that are here for item number 6 under new business citizen comments? There being none, I will seek a motion for adjournment.
Motion. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.